My name is Momo. I beat Sephiroth in both Final Fantasy VII Remake on normal mode and Chapter 2 the Yuffie DLC story on normal mode as frogs. All of the purple materia is necessary for a frog run in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, while the blue and green materia will be used on a case-by-case basis. I will be going over the Yuffie DLC first, since I haven't made a compilation of it. This run wouldn't have been possible if I didn't max out the necessary materia and had the right amount of gil to complete this. This is what I had on Yuffie: Steel Reaper, Supreme Bracer, 2 HP up, Parry, Skill Master, Item Master, MP up, Precision Dodge, Steadfast Block. On Sonon, I had the Indurate Staff, Iron Maiden, HP up, ATB Stagger, Steadfast Block, Provoke, and ATB Assist. Yuffie was my main hitter while Sonon became my tank. Having all of the materia is great, but the biggest challenge of doing a full game story run of just frogs, whether for the DLC, Remake, and even Rebirth, is how much gil you need to spend and farm. To put it in perspective, while doing the Yuffie DLC run, I started with nearly 90,000 gil, and spent it all buying Mega Potions and Phoenix Downs. By the end of the run, I was left with 11,000 gil. I barely had enough gil to replenish my inventory for the Nero fight. I want to mention that I didn't go out farming for additional gil at all. Now that we have the Yuffie DLC out of the way, it is time for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Final Fight Dynamic Difficulty. I wasn't sure if this run could be done on dynamic difficulty, with all 7 characters as frogs, especially since I did not see anyone on the internet do it at the time this video was made. Though I thought I would try my shot at it to see. Just like the Yuffie run, I maxed out all the materia with the purples being the base materia, which is materia that should always be equipped in the slots. I then went out of my way to farm for over 500 million gil in order to buy and transmute 99 Giga Potions, X Potions, Mist Mega Potions, Mist Giga Potions, Remedies, and Celeris. I had no idea what I would be up against, but there was nothing wrong with being overly prepared. What I did know was that I needed survivability for the battles ahead. Oh, and before I get into speccing, the materia build you'll see was a process build since I unspec'd auto weapon ability and item economizer materia much later in my run. I'll go over why later in this video. Once I was ready, I spec'd everyone. Cloud, his weapon, Sleek Saber, his armor, Cetran Armlet. Here's a list of his materia. Barret, his weapon, Battle Cry, his armor, Backbone Bracelet. Here's a list of his materia. Tifa, her weapon, Yarn Graper, her armor, Celestial Bangle. Here's a list of her materia. Aerith, her weapon, Gambentine, her armor, Hades Armlet. Here's a list of her materia. Red 13, his weapon, Mystic Collar, his armor, Valkyrian Bangle. Here's a list of his materia. Yuffie, her weapon, Crescent Sickle, her armor, Enhanced Spiritbound Armlet. Here's a list of her materia. Cait Sith, his weapon, Golden Megaphone, his armor, Enhanced Garm Bangle. Here's a list of his materia. I could have had everyone equipped with a heavy physical attack build, but I needed ATB charge up because the ATB gauge will fill up very slowly. The faster, the better, especially when I reached Sephiroth. Now that everyone was spec'd, here's how the battles went. The first part of Jenova wasn't so bad, though I immediately noticed a huge shift in the damage output for Leapfrog. I knew that it was going to take a while to get to Sephiroth. As we got to the last segment of Jenova, she kept teleporting around, making it difficult to bubble her to gain back health and to inflict magic damage. However, thanks to the warding materia, I was able to resist stop on some of the characters. I also noticed that Jenova never grabbed me as a frog, which I thought was really funny. Apparently, you have to be this tall to ride. When I got to Cloud and Zack's fight, I did my best to use very few potions because if I used them carelessly, I would easily run out. I took advantage of Zack's Curaga when given the chance. After parting ways with Zack, it was time to climb up Sephiroth Reborn Sack? Heart? Ball? People were asking me, so how will you do the climbing thing? Well, I did what I did best, and that was to F around and find out. If I didn't turn back into a human to climb, then the final boss cannot be done as all frogs. Sephiroth Reborn kept blowing me away when using Maelstrom until I found out that I could just go behind him and attack him, blocking me from being blown away. Once we climbed up Sephiroth and smacked him with my froggy legs, we were greeted by Bahamut Arisen. Out of all the fights, this took the longest, minus final Sephiroth, due to Bahamut getting rezzed over and over again. I had the time parrying Atonement or wait until the dragon died so that I could land Leapfrog on Sephiroth's arms. I am also thankful that Giga Flare in Chapter 14 isn't a one-hit KO, even on hard mode. Additionally, it was here that I decided that the auto weapon ability materia needed to be unequipped on Tifa, Barret, Yuffie, and Red 13. Leapfrog and the ability to use the ATB at my own convenience was needed here. When I got rid of Bahamut, it was time to lick the core. But first, I had to take care of the wings. I understand some people are going, Momo, how? And I thought the same thing when I got to it. Since the wings are immune to physical attacks, I couldn't just lick the wings, so I used Bubble for magic damage. I looked for the area where I thought the arms would cross the platform, then I bubbled them. For every swipe Sephiroth made, the bubbles inflicted damage. I remembered Yuffie and Tifa had elemental materia, in case they got hit. With the respective magic that I linked with the elemental materia, they would gain back some lost HP. Before I continue, please subscribe for more content. After hopping on his core and surviving through Heartless Angel and Octaslash, it was time to fight the actual Sephiroth. I used Leapfrog to gauge how much damage I was inflicting, and it was very small. I ended up using Bubble and lured him to them. If he did Whisper Cannon, I held down on the block button. Every time he skewered, the frogs may get hit, but they don't stick to the sword. When he did Heartless Angel, I just popped a Giga Potion, praying that he didn't knock out either Cloud or Aerith in the process before the heal kicked in. All of his moves were manageable until I got to the End is Nigh. I didn't know what this attack was, since I skipped what it did in my normal playthrough by limit breaking his butt. I found out that the End is Nigh is a one-hit KO attack under a timer. I needed to out-DPS him as frogs. So my strat was to inflict DPS while gaining stagger and at some point at the letter S in his health bar name, stop hitting him to prevent the End is Nigh from appearing, so that I could build a third stagger on him by blocking and parrying. I had to time it all out accordingly. Unfortunately, this strat failed, since I didn't have enough DPS towards the end. I concluded that dynamic difficulty in Chapter 14 as frogs is not feasible. The beauty of these challenge runs is seeing if it can be done, and sometimes, even if you think it's possible, the game won't let you win no matter how hard you try, and how you try to play around the rules. I scaled back and did this in normal mode, starting the whole run back at the Forgotten Capital prior to the Genova fight. I had to go through all the fights again, but this time I unequipped auto weapon ability materia. Furthermore, yellow materia, even item economizer, cannot be used as frogs. I knew about the yellow materia before, but I wanted to double check during this run. I had a feeling that normal mode with my initial strat from dynamic difficulty may have been possible, but I wasn't so sure since the End is Nigh is timed. I felt if I played my cards right, timing the stagger enough where I could leapfrog to the point where he grazed out his health bar, that I would be okay, since his one-hit kill attack would be based on luck and skill. Additionally, pressuring Sephiroth was a sight to see. When everything fell into place, I had to carefully maneuver myself around Sephiroth, while gaining ATB and leapfrogging. I conquered Sephiroth as frogs. Ribbit. After 300 plus hours of playing this game, I could take a break from it, I still have hard mode to do for platinum, but honestly, I sacrificed my time to do hard mode for this frog run. I would rather move on to something else for now. I've been preparing for this run since this game came out in February, and it was the reason why I went for the brutal and legendary challenges. I wanted to gear and level up everyone for this run. Thank you very much for watching. Ribbit.